Okay, I'm going to be making a Syiom on...
Rabbi Sai, please come to the front. We're making a Syiom. Lilu Nishmas, my father, our father.
On Seder Kachim, and Kachim ends with Maseches Kinim. In order to give an introduction to Maseches Kinim, you have to understand a few concepts. And I'm going to use some props.
Props, everyone look, props.
A cane, the literal translation is nest, is made up of two birds. There's two types of kinim. There is a cane, which is a nidava, a gift. That's composed of two olos. You have the green on the bottom, two olos. And then you have a chova, and that is when a poor woman has a child, she has to give two birds. One of them an ola, and one of them a chatas. Next thing you need to know is the mizbech. The mizbech has a chura sikra, red line, about halfway up. This is not to scale. This is for the purposes of the demonstration only. And the important thing to know about the chura sikra when it comes to birds is as follows. When you have your kain chova, the chatas must be brought below the chura sikra. If it's brought above the chura sikra, it's possible. The ola must be above the chura sikra, it's possible. So your chova would be like this. When one gives birth, she gives a carbon like this, one above, one below. You actually start with the chatas below, then ola above, and then when you have your kain, that is a nidava, two olas above the chura sikra. This is important because a chatas that's brought above the chura sikra and an ola that's brought below the chura sikra is possible. One more rule that's important for this is that there are two kinds of birds that can be brought. You can bring either either for a chover or no. You can bring either Torim or Bnei Yonah. If you bring Torim, both animals must be Torim. If you bring Bnei Yonah, both animals must be Bnei Yonah. With those concepts in mind, we are going to start the last Mishnah, and we're going to go through the whole thing. Unfortunately, it's a really long Mishnah. A woman who gives a vow. So there's a grant here, a nidava, and she's saying, I'm going to give a cane, which is two olos, when she has a child, a son, specifically a son. Yolda Zachar, so if she gives birth to a boy, here's what she should bring. She should bring two sets of birds, achas linidra, one for her neder, v'achas lichovasa. Nesas on the Kohen, she gives it to the Kohen. V'kohen tzarich lasos shalosh peres l'mala. The Kohen's supposed to bring three birds above the chura sikra, and achas mulamata, and one below the chura sikra. Lo asa came. The Kohen did not do this and didn't ask. Ela asa shnayim l'mala and shnayim l'mata. He did two above the chura sikra and two below the chura sikra. So what's puzzle? The one that's puzzle is the ola of the nidava, which should have been brought above the chura sikra. It was brought below the chura sikra. What's the halacha? Below nimlach, he didn't ask what to do. Tzricha lahavi od preda, one single bird. Achas v'yikrivenu l'mala, because the Kohen went like this, and the Kohen should have gone like this, so the gap is only one bird. So she has to bring one. V'yikrivenu l'mala, bring it above the chura sikra as an ola. That's nimin echad. However, mishnei minim, and you're going to have to excuse me for not being 100% accurate with my props here. She had the Turim and the Bnei Yonah, and instead of bringing the Turim and Bnei Yonah like this, she brought the Turim and Bnei Yonah like this. So, Tavi Shtayim, she has to bring two more birds. And remember, we said you can't bring Turim against Bnei Yonah. Bnei Yonah have to bring Turim against Turim, and Bnei Yonah against Bnei Yonah. So again, the Kohen should have brought this, and he brought this. So why does she have to bring two? Because she needs, the chatas has to be against the ola. And since, which one of these was the chatas and which one is the ola. You can't say, well, the ola went with this chatas because this one, the one that's, let's say it's b'nei yonah, the b'nei yonah shouldn't have had any chatos. It should have all been olas. So in order to get the two olas from the davar properly arranged, you have the chatos that went with the chova was good. The ola that went with the chova is good. However, the one that is associated with the nedava is absolutely no good, and you have to bring two birds for your ola, and that is going to be one tur and one ben yonah. Okay, pirsha nidra. So this is all assuming that the woman did not specify the kind of bird she was going to bring initially when she said, when I have a son, I'm going to bring an ola. She just said, I'm going to bring a set of birds. However, Pirsha Nidra, at the time that she made her promise, she said, I'm going to bring a specific type of bird, either Torah or Ben Yonah, and she forgot. So the only way that she's going to fulfill her obligation is going to bring the kova, and then have one above and below the Kodesh Sikra, and she's going to have to bring a set of Turim and a set of Bnei Yonah since she didn't know which one. So, if she did the first one of all Turim, so she's going to have to bring one more tur because this one went below the Chodesh Sikra. It needs to be above the Chodesh Sikra, so that's one over here. And then she has to bring two more, which are the Bnei Yonah. So that is Mimin Echad if she brought, when the Kohen did the split, of one type. However, Mishnei Meinim, Tavi Aryeh, she has to bring four more because again, you can't bring Turim against Bnei Yonah and all sets must be the same. You don't know whether or not the Turim have the chatas and the Bnei Yonah have the chatas, so she's going to need to bring two birds as if the cane that she brought was ineffective. Two birds for chatas and two birds for ola. Okay, kava nidra. If she said at the time, and this is building on the last case again was that she was explicit and said that it needs to be of a particular type and she forgot. In addition to being that particular type, she said it had to be brought along with the ola of the chova. So when this one is brought, the one that has the chatas and the ola, it has to be brought together. So obviously the only way to bring them together is to bring the ola together with it. You can't, unfortunately, accumulate the ola in one of these birds. The ola has to be alongside this bird. And therefore what happens is now it's true that when she brought the birds like this, when she brought the birds like this ola was a good ola. However, it went against the words of her netter. The words of her netter was that they had to be together with the ola. So now she needs to bring this one again, and because she forgot whether she specified Torah or Bnei Yonah, she needs to bring two more. That's a total of 5. Mishnei Minim, if she brought, when she brought her chatas and her ola, she brought two kinds. She brought both Torim and Bnei Yonah, and she brought them like this, and the Kohen brought them like this. So then, Tavi Sheish, because again she needs to bring the Ola with the Chatas, and she doesn't know which one of these were the Chatas, the Torim or the Bnei Yonah or the Chatas, and so her Ola of the Chova must accompany the two Turim and Tur Bnei Yonah, and which one is the Chova? Either one of these two, but in order to make sure that you get both of them worked out, you have to bring a total of 6 birds, 3 Torim and 3 Bnei Yonah. Okay, now this last case of the Mishnah is a doozy. Nasnas and Kohen meni yadoi nasnasa. She gave some birds to the Kohen, and she doesn't know what she gave. The assumption is she gave at least 4, but it doesn't help because she doesn't know what she gave. Halacha Kohen va'asa v'enu yadoi ma'asa. And the Kohen was sleeping that day. He does not know what he did. Tzricha lahavi od arba preidim lenidra. So the easy one's this. Here's her nether. So she specified that she's going to bring her olas with her chova. She has, and she forgot which kind. She has to bring 2. That's easy. Okay, so that is 4 above the chod hasikra. And then shtayim lechovasa. She has to bring a chatas and an ola for her chova because she doesn't know. I'm sorry, not shtayim lechovasa because of chatas and ola. She has to bring a tor and a ben yona for her chova because you have to bring the chatas and the ben yona against the ola of the chata. The ola aligns to the chatas, and the chatas may have been brought below the chatas properly, so she has to bring the ola against it, and you don't know whether or not she brought Torah and whether or not she brought Bnei Yonah. So in order to fulfill that, she has to bring a Torah and a Bnei Yonah against that. Same thing as the last case, which is 6. However, because the Kohen doesn't even know what he did, there's one more bird she has to bring with Chatas Achas, because all the birds might have been brought above the Chod HaSikra, even if she specified them as Chatas. If all the birds were brought above the Chod HaSikra, she was never Yotzei her Chatas. So because she was never Yotzei her Chatas, she has to bring, in addition to 2 different kinds of birds for her Ola as her Chova, she also has to bring 1 Chatas. This is the Shita of the Tanakama, who holds the first animal that you bring is the Chatas. The Chatas controls the Ola, and remember the 2 sets have to align, and therefore you go with the Chatas first, and then the other 2, and that's how you get 7. Ben Azay Omer Shtei Chatos. Ben Azay said a total of 8 birds, and the reason he says you have a total of 8 birds is because he argues on the Tanakam, and he says when you have a nest, that's the Chova, you don't go by the Chatas, you go by whichever one is brought first. Everyone agrees you should bring the Chatas first, but if you brought the Ola first, the Ola has to be brought from that min. Again, we don't know if the person brought anything above the Kohen brought anything above the Chod HaSikra or anything below the Chod HaSikra. The worst case for Ben Azai is that all the birds were brought above the Chod HaSikra, which means he only brought Olas. He wasn't Mekayim his Chova yet. And in order to Mekayim his Chova, he has to bring a Chatas. The Chatas has to be the same type as the Ola. He doesn't know, and she doesn't know, whether or not the Ola that was brought was Torim, or the Ola that was brought was Ben Yonah. So Ben Azai says you have to bring 2 Chatos, 1 Ben Tor, 1 Tor and 1 Ben Yonah for a total of 8. Amar Yeshua, Zeu Shamuk Shuchai Kolo Echad. There are a bunch of interpretations of the whole Mishnah, by the way. I'm giving the one that is simplest. And the explanation for this part also is if the person would have only done their neder correctly and sacrificed what they should have sacrificed, they would have only had to bring 1 extra chatas, 1 extra ola, and that would have been to accommodate the Kohen's mistake. Kshumes, however, when the animal is dead, kolo shiva, it has 7 voices, meaning you have to bring 7 birds in order to fulfill the obligation appropriately. Now, going through the animal that is, when it's alive, its voice is 1, that would be its voice. Kshumes kol shiva, how do you get 7 sounds out of an animal if it's dead? Shtei krano, shtei chatzot. So its 2 horns its 2 horns become trumpets. Shtei shokov, its 2 thighs, shnei chalilim, become flutes. Oral litof, its drum, its skin becomes a drum. Moav nevalim, its intestines become cords for harps. A navel is a lyre. And bnei v'chinoros, the intestines, I guess they need a larger cord, become harps. V'yesh omrim af tzimur l'tcheles, and Ben Azai, who says a total of 8 birds, says that you consider the dead part of the animal to include the wool, and you would make the percussion sounds with the wool, and that would make your 8th sound. There's a similar statement that we see similar circumstance that we see that there's more that happens when someone is associated with Torah than when they are not associated with Torah, which would have been, in our case here, you have the 7, so there's an increase. Zignei Haaretz, you have the Zkanim who are not associated with Torah. Kol Zman Shemaskinim, as they age, Daitan Mitarefes Aleim, their knowledge becomes torn. Shenemar Meisir Safa L'Ne'emanim V'Tam Zkanim Yikach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu removes the tongue of trusted people and the wisdom from elders. Avol Ziknei Torah Enum Kain. However, the elders of Torah, the people who learn Torah, are not like this. As they age, they become more concentrated. Shenemar B'Yishishim Chachma, as they old, they have wisdom. V'Orichem Tevuna, and they have old age, they have understanding. Nishlam Useches Kinem. Adronalach Mesech Seder Kachim, Adrachalan Daitanach Seder Kachim, Daitachon, Losishem Minach Seder Kachim, Losishem Minan Lova Adain Lova Madasi. Adronalach Seder Kachim, Adrachalan Daitanach Seder Kachim, Daitachon, Losishem Minach Seder Kachim, Losishem Minan Lova Adain Lova Madasi. Adronalach Seder Kachim, Adrachalan Daitanach Seder Kachim, Daitachon, Losishem Minach Seder Kachim, Losishem Minan Lova Adain Lova Madasi. Harem No Adonai Eloheinu Sivir Seskofinu. V'fifios am chavis Yisrael kolon anachnu tzatun tzatzoinu tzatzoinu am chavis Yisrael kolon yedei shmech kolon yedei tzatzoinu l'shmo v'yedei tzachmeinu mitzvosecha k'dilam yehi li samu chukecha man l'vor shalom lo yishkach b'kudecha yivam chisani baruch atah Adonai l'nein chukecha amen 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 sel v'ed v'odeh ani lefanecha Adonai alai v'osei sheshamta chakim yoshvei beis hamidrash lo samta chakim yoshvei karnos shani mashkim והם משכימים, אני משכים וזוהי סובר, והם משכימים דברים ויתלים, אני עמל והם עמלים, אני עמל ומקבל שכר, והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר. אני רץ והם רצים, הם רצים לבאר שחס, ואני רץ לחיי העולם, שנאמר אתה אלוהים, שיידינו לבאר שחס, אנשי דמים וממר לא יחצוי מהם, ואני אבטח בך. יהי רצון לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו שכשם שעזרתנו לסיים סדר קודשים, כן כך תעזרנו להשכיל ספרים אחרים לסיימם ללמוד וללמד לסוך הרחבה, לשמור ולעשות לחיים. It's called the very Samus Arzech Be'avav. It's called Tanoim. The Samdei Chachamim Nizkarim Seder Kachim V'chol Sfarim Shalmati Ya'amodli Uzari Zari Shalosh Samush Atarak Dushan Pi Zar Zari Me'atav Yadalam V'kuyam Banu Mikrosh HaKasu B'Salacha Tancha Osach B'Shachocha Tishmar Lecha V'Hakitzosa Hisisichecha Ki V'yu B'Mecha Yisichu Shalosh Shalosh Chaim V'Archim V'Nam Osher V'Chavar B'Smola Adonai Oz Lamo Yitain. Which way is east?
Right with which way, man?
Towards the corner.
Towards the corner. Shmei Rabbo. V'madi Yusil is Chadosel Chaim Yisrael Sokar Song L'Chayam V'na Kartadi Shalem Shachal Echala B'Gavav L'Karpun Chanan U'Chamin Arol Yasopul Chanad Yishmael Asrei Yom L'Chucha B'Chum L'Chusei Korei Amen.
Yeshmei Rabbo Marach Yisrael my God. Amen. Amen.
Yesh Lamar Alvin Shmar Chaim Tovim Alain Valko Yisrael Amen.
Amen.
Aser Shalom Rabbi Aser Shalom Valko Yisrael Amen.
Amen. Mazel tov, Mazel tov. Only simpers. Go over and talk to Mom.
Yes, now you can eat.
The Surah's Divers, everyone. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having us.
I'm talking to the Zoom world. All the best. You should leave it going? Okay, we'll leave it going. until Dr. Zoom shuts us down.